Let's talk right now to Harry Miller, former police officer and founder of Fair Cop, who joins us now to talk about all things policing. A very good morning to you.
Happy Christmas.
I haven't got to Happy New Year yet.
Yeah.
Although I want to know your hopes and fears before the end of the show. Look, you obviously still, as a former police officer, follow a lot of these police stories, but there's quite a few in the news today. First up, I want to ask you there about the police watchdog. This is the Chief Inspector of Constabulary, Andy Cook. He's done basically an investigation into police preparation for riots. We hadn't had any riots on the streets of this country on a grand scale since 2011. We all remember those, of course, starting in London and spreading elsewhere. After the Southport attacks, we did see riots in the streets across numerous towns and cities around the country. His new report says police simply were unprepared for the scale of the disorder that broke out. They need to be better prepared. Police officers sent onto the streets in violent disputes without even proper riot gear. What do you make of that lack of prep?
This is a basic failure of intelligence. Absolutely everybody knew that there was likely to be riots following the deaths and the murders in Southport this summer. But of course, the police were so busy probably investigating the landlord of the Saracen's Head pub
Yes.
For promoting hate with his pub sign than actually looking at genuine police intelligence. This is where policing's gone entirely wrong. The police have been so focused on micromanaging little so-called micro-hates that they missed the massive rioting elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And
let's face it, they're not prepared to deal with bike thefts or bag thefts or phone thefts, so I don't know why we think they'd be able to cope with riots.
That's exactly it. And I put a lot of the blame of this down to the College of Policing, which sucks up £75 million worth of the taxpayers' money every year. Honestly, Julia, I wouldn't pay them in washers. They're absolutely useless.
And they're the cause of many of our issues, because they're the ones pushing this crazy agenda of basically trying to censor our freedom of speech and the sort of DEI, the diversity, equality, inclusion agenda, which goes far beyond just treating people equally.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, it's under their watch that we're spending now, what is it, £12 million a year on diversity officers? What's that? Also under their watch, you know what? We're spending £31 million a year on officers who've been suspended. I mean, this is a huge amount of money. And for every one of those officers who's been suspended, there's an entire cottage industry of professional standards who are wandering around police stations, checking up that the police officers are thinking the right way. You know, I mentioned this on one of the Talk Radio's programs a few weeks ago. There's now a purge on police office mugs. So if you have a mug in your office as a police officer that says something like, you know, in God we trust, everyone else we stop and search, which is just funny, you are likely to be suspended on full pay for up to 2 years before they get round to dealing with you. So that's another officer.
That's insane. I mean, it's just insane.
All of this is down to the College of Policing.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, again, the policing of thoughts. I mean, I still have an issue with, you know, the policing of private WhatsApp groups. Different if you're sharing images of crime scenes. Absolutely out of the force. I've got no issue with that. Blatant racist, you know, stuff, which means you cannot police fairly because your views towards people towards different colour. Yeah, out. But we're seeing people going to prison for things like this. It's all just gone way too far, hasn't it? And yet we have the bizarre thing now, a situation where we've actually got a prospect of job losses. 3,500 job losses because of the latest funding deal for the police, even though they can't manage dealing with, I suppose, minor crime or major crime or arrest anybody or deal with riots. But at the same time, they have been dealing with lots of non-crime hate incidents, something 60 a day, every day for the last God knows how many years. But there is some good news. The Hampshire's Police and Crime Commissioner, Donna Jones, has said we should end the recording of all non-crime hate incidents. I mean, do you think she's finally the one to break ranks and everyone else might follow?
Well, Donna Jones has a history of being absolutely brilliant. If only more police and crime commissioners were like Donna Jones, then we would be in a happy place. Not only that, but Lord Herbert, God bless him, has finally come down the College of Policing chimney and announced during this Christmas season that non-crime hate incidents are actually a bit of a waste of time, and they are a complete
Well, they're
waste
not
of time.
crime. I mean, given that the police are supposed to deal with crimes and they're quite literally non-crimes, that would be a giveaway.
There's a clue in their title, Julia. These are non crime hate incidents. I mean, we were joking earlier about the Saracen's Head pub, but that would qualify as a non-crime.
Because if someone, as we know, this convicted jihadi propagandist, so 4 years behind bars, if he says he's offended by the name and the picture on the sign, then by definition it is offensive. It's a subjective view, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Just the other week, I was investigated by a detective sergeant. Why? Because I'd written an article in the Critic magazine, and I had used the wrong pronoun, and that took
you used the correct pronoun.
I used the correct pronoun. But all of this comes out of the College of Policing. It comes out of the £12 million diversity officers. Yeah. I received an email this week from a recently retired police officer from Essex, and he said he's got out because he cannot stand the daily push in his inbox from the diversity officers telling them that they have to celebrate this or celebrate that.
I have heard this from so many people in so many fields, but particularly in the police, where they literally say, I can't do it. We lose all the good, sane people.
These are good officers. You know, somebody who's eligible for retirement has done a lot of years of service. These are the creme de la creme.
Saying they cannot cope anymore. Okay, I've got to ask you, we've only got about 30 seconds. Harry Miller, what are your hopes and your fears for 2025?
Well, my hope is that this time next year I'll not be doing this, Julia, because we'll have won this war and I'll be able to happily retire. My fear is that I'm going to be on your show in 12 months' time talking about what a terrible year
12 years' time, mate. That's the terrible thing. But we are always, you are always welcome with us. Harry Miller, you keep up the most fantastic work. I just love the fact the police never turn up on my door for this. I mean, they're welcome to. I make a lovely cup of tea. I make a terrible cup of tea, but I'll definitely put the kettle on for you, lads. But